So my friend bought a brand new convertible about a month ago. She added some rims, an upgraded stereo system, and it was fantastic. She came to pick me up and we drove down the coast highway, and it was just a beautiful sunny day. We found a perfect parking spot close to the cliffs, and we decided to walk down to the beach and just enjoy the sea breeze a day. It was a very good day. When we came back up, we noticed that her car had a big scratch and a dent, and we couldn't find anybody who could tell us what happened. But the good thing is that whoever hit her left a note saying, "Hey, this is my name, this is my phone number. I am so sorry I hit your car, and this is my policy number and my insurance company. Please call them to make sure that your car is fixed." So she didn't really pay close attention to that. She said, "Hey, I have enough insurance with me. I have full coverage insurance, and just in case this person has left me their information, so if anything goes wrong, I can just give them a call back." So the next day, she decided to call her insurance and tell them a little bit of what had happened. They told her, "This is a hit and run. We do not cover hit and runs, so go ahead and call their insurance to see what they can do for you." She calls their insurance and she realizes that the driver who hit her car had canceled their policy a week ago. So they told her, "Hey, there's nothing we can do for you. Unfortunately, this policy has been canceled, so there's no way we can cover you. Go ahead and call your insurance to make sure that you are adequately insured." So she calls back her insurance, a little frustrated this time, and tells them, "Look, I already spoke to them. They said that this person canceled their insurance and that they they can't cover me. So is there anything you can do? I mean, I'm paying for this full coverage insurance. You should be able to cover me." And they said, "Okay, you do have collision insurance. You just have to pay your $500 deductible, and we can send an adjuster out to take a pictures of the car, get down your notes and everything." And she says, "No, why should I pay $500 when one, I wasn't at fault in this accident, and two, I pay my insurance every single month. And you told me that I have full coverage insurance." Unfortunately, situations like this happen a lot. And it's very important that you understand this insurance jargon to make sure that you're adequately covered. I worked for Farmers Insurance for a couple of years, and let me help you define three key coverages that a lot of people should have and a lot of people mistake for full coverage. So first, let's get down to what the term full coverage means. Full coverage is not an insurance term. It's just a term that people use to say that they have liability, collision, and comprehensive insurance, and that's it. So what is insurance then? Well, because we live in the state of California, we are mandated by the state to have liability insurance. Now, liability protects us financially when we are at fault in an accident, and it's composed by two main parts. One of them is property damage, and that coverage has to do when it covers the expenses of a repair or replaces damaged items, including vehicles, lampposts, houses, up to the limits that you select. So remember, this doesn't cover your damages. It covers the damages to the person that was hit or that suffered these damages. Another part to this liability insurance, is bodily damage. Bodily damage protects by granting the person that was injured with medical bills, expenses, funeral expenses, loss of earnings, and pain and suffering, among other limits, up to the policy limits that you have selected. So remember, this doesn't pay you, this pays when you are at fault in an accident and you have to pay somebody else. Liability insurance also pays for legal defense costs in case things get a little bit out of hand and you have to go to court. And in case you're involved in an accident, this liability insurance actually protects you. So remember, this portion of insurance doesn't pay for your damages, but for the damages caused resulting when you're at fault in an accident. So a lot of people say, "Hey, I want to protect my car too. I mean, I know I have to pay for this liability insurance, but I want to protect my car in case something happens to it." Well, there's two main coverages that help against this. One of them is comprehensive insurance. Comprehensive insurance protects your auto in case of theft, vandalism, falling objects, among other things, but does not protect when it has to do with a collision. So let's say that there was a rolling cart and you were at a supermarket and the cart hits your car. That's considered a collision, so comprehensive insurance will not cover this. What does cover it? Collision insurance. Now, collision insurance is covers when your car is damaged or destroyed due to an accident. This coverage helps to fix or replace the auto up to a certain extent. This coverage, comprehensive or collision, do not cover in the case of hit and run. So like what happened to my friend, it wouldn't cover her because it was a hit and run. But there is a certain uh, coverage that kind of helps out in her case. And this is our third coverage that everybody should have, and that's underinsured or uninsured motorist coverage. This coverage helps out when the person who hit you does not have any insurance or is underinsured. And this is a coverage that, remember, has to be added to your policy. It doesn't just come with it. It's added to your policy to protect you in the case that you were in an accident and that you were not at fault. If the other driver does not have insurance or doesn't have sufficient insurance, it can cover just like liability would cover you. So let's say that somebody hits you and you're injured. It will cover your medical expenses, loss and suffering, among other things. So it also covers property damage. So let's say that somebody hits you and they don't have enough insurance or they don't have any insurance and your auto is damaged, then that's when the property damage will help you with either replacement or fixing your car. So kind of like liability, but in the case that this underinsured or uninsured motorist coverage protects you. So why is it important for this coverage for us to have this coverage? Well, because one thing, we do not know what type of insurance other people have or if it even is sufficient enough to cover us. So it's important for us to protect ourselves. So today we have come to understand what some of the basic insurance coverages are. We didn't go to extent, we just defined some of the things that we should know and learned that the term full coverage does not exist. That by the state of California, we are required to have liability insurance, and that there's two main components to it that have to do with liability insurance. One of them being bodily injury, another one being property damage. Now, up to the limits to that, please talk to your insurance agent and ask them if you have enough insurance to cover you in case you are in an accident. Another thing we learned about is comprehensive and collision insurance, and this insurance protects your auto, and it does have a deductible. It can go anywhere from $50 up to $1,000 depending on what you choose. There are other coverages that you can add to your policy, such as roadside assistance, gap insurance, protecting your rims if you added some new rims to your car. All of this is um, additional insurance that we can add to our policy. But remember, this should be an opportunity for us to open up our policy documents, look at the type of insurance that we have, and most importantly, speak to our agents. Make sure that they explain to us what type of coverage we do have, and in case we are in an accident or even before that, understand what our policy will cover and if it will cover us financially, because that's the purpose of insurance, to protect our assets. So just like as the example that we saw before with my friend, her car, fortunately, she did have the person's information, but she had to go to court, to small claims court, and it took her 6 months to be able to be indemnified by the suffrage, the losses that she suffered. So remember, take this as an opportunity